with them. Because if you do not know or how to create a conversation or connection with them, then you will lose the opportunity. That's first thing. Okay. Second thing, your sincere advice. It's not about whether they want to buy or they don't want to buy, but you always remember one thing: give them options. Yeah, I have the knowledge, and you can say that actually, sometimes right, even my agent say that, how do I start? Because my prospect understand very well that I'm very new in the business. For example, if you are you're very new in the business, so you can actually borrow a story maybe from your colleague, someone like that. You can borrow a story. I just met, one of the potential family, for example. Then you can borrow a story from your leader. You say that, your agency, we have the agency serving money. Yeah, and also you must prep yourself with the right knowledge. Because if you don't prep yourself with the right knowledge, and when there's a question come from the high net worth, you must be ready to answer them as well. Yeah, we have to be, no need to impress them on how, our achievement, but what they want is, like I mentioned earlier on, two things, which is your sincerity, and you always be visible, show up, and always take care of them, not just because of the product, but you genuinely want to give them the best advice from your knowledge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So CA, it's really how about you start or connect to your client and start a conversation, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. We have another question. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
I'm Marilyn Alvarez from Black Onyx branch of the Philippines.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much for your generous sharing. My question is, among the 7 components of estate planning, which area do you think financial advisors should initiate first when meeting a high net worth client and why?
Okay, for me, the first will be the inheritance. Because now I start to realize that giving the money to the next generation, right, is a headache and a concern for them. I explain to you why. We have to understand the differences between inheritance planning and also legacy planning and also estate planning and succession planning. So maybe I summarize in these two. There are so many high level, they always think that inheritance planning and succession planning is the same thing. So sometimes once they do the succession planning, right, they might not actually move to the inheritance planning. But we have to understand, when it comes to succession planning, it means that you are actually giving the power to your children to run the business. But they might not own all assets from the parents. But inheritance planning is the one they own the asset, but they don't have control over the business. Okay, so we must understand the difference on these first two, inheritance planning and also succession planning. So now coming to the inheritance planning, I would definitely pick the inheritance planning, and the reason why is that they realize that the second generation is the one that normally divide their wealth. So let me give you an example. The grandfather actually built the business. The children, which is the next generation, it will take care of the business, means that maintain the business. And the last, which is the grandchildren, which is those that their concern is that they do not know how to run, but they want the money. So what they do? Divide it. So when it comes to inheritance planning, we have to move beyond that. So we ask them, what kind of value and what kind of purpose that you want to leave behind? So you see, that legacy planning is very interesting. Now I give you an example. Let's say now I'm still alive. Every month I give my son, let's say 1,000 ringgit allowance for him to spend. When I'm around, I will still be able to control how he spends his money. Correct? But now, we as an advisor, we want to help the high net worth family, even though they are not around. We want to make sure that they still have the control over their money. That is called proper legacy planning. So we want to make sure that they have a control. You're not here, doesn't matter, but we still can control the money that they receive. That must carry purpose and also value. So what's proper legacy planning and inheritance planning, which is to make sure that you preserve not just the money, but you must preserve your control even when we are not around. So focus on inheritance planning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Max from Philippines. And how about from other countries?
High net worth individuals already have diversified investments. So some of them will tell us they have various life insurance plans already. So my question is, how do you address this when they believe their assets are good, or they already have several life insurance plans that are sufficient for their heirs? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, a lot of the high net worth, they will actually tend to value that I have so many policies and I have enough. But sometimes they always assume that they have enough. So how do I actually bring this conversation to the next level? I ask, that is very good to know that you have so many insurance policy, but maybe can you share with me the amount, what is enough to you? You say enough, right? But what is enough? Because when I get that kind of response from my prospect, when I ask them, what is enough? And they do not know how to answer me. They do not know how to answer me. Then now back to the question, if you do not know the number, how make you think that you know that is enough? Yeah, so that's the first thing. Then now back to the investment, right? I always tell them one thing. Investment is the nature of why you do investment because you want to grow your money. Correct. But there's a certain portion of your money on the children, on your grandchildren, even your high net worth. You want to make sure that you have the minimum amount for them to be taken care of. So I call this amount is that the amount that they cannot afford to lose. So for example, let's say the high net worth has a family of, let's say 8, and maybe they need at least 5 million to take care of this family. And you know that no bad, no if. This 5 million has to be there to take care of the family. Then I told my prospect, why not we do a structure that will be able to give the money that you can never afford to lose, because that money is to take care of this family. Then whatever money they can afford to lose, and you have the intention to grow the money, then put into the investment. So you start to do this too. You ask first, how much do you think is sufficient? Because when you ask this question, to be honest, sometimes they don't even know the number. So we want to identify, do they actually respond to you this way because of part of the objection? Or they want to actually find a solution? How do you do a proper legacy planning or inheritance planning? Okay?
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much for that question. It's really important, CA, to know, to let your clients understand the true purpose of their investment, or where they're putting their money into, correct?
That's true, Angela. You've been learning a lot. And of course, I can see a lot of people queuing for their questions. They really learn a lot. Want to learn a lot.
Yeah, so now maybe let's have the next question to the right side of this hall. Thank you. There. Hello, can we assist on the microphone, please?
Okay, hi Kaka. Hi Kaka, thank you for your sharing. I'm Earth from Malaysia. So I would love to know more of your experience in human insurance policies. Okay. I've talked to multiple advisors. I even talked to someone like Rick Hugh, and he mentioned human insurance is great, but it takes a very long time to get it accepted. So I would like to know your journey as well, from maybe your multiple no's, your first years, how long did it take, and how did you do to accelerate your case?
I would love to answer that question, especially we are in the same company and same country. Okay, I did a couple of number of human insurance though. Okay, I do not know why people are talking about the process will take longer. Probably maybe compliance or maybe the health, situation on the client. But for me, actually, I process it. If you want to do submission on our Way Plus, right, actually possible. But it just have a lot of questions and have a lot of external form that you need to submit, which is true. I have a list to actually get it done before you can proceed on the approval. But to be honest, I think within a month you can clear everything. It's not so difficult. But I recently did it was end of last year.
But for mindset-wise, because for businessmen, they are
not the paperwork, is it?
both as well.
So the paperwork, I can tell you, in 1 month you can actually settle everything. But yes, there's so many documents you need to actually get your client and also the director also to sign. Because there's a lot of form that to mention that. Because you have to ask, there's a question and they also ask, why you want to buy this sum assured for the company, for this particular key people? And they also ask you also, why these key people need that kind of sum assured? How much does these key people bring to the company? There will be all these questions. Because I run through everything the question before I can actually get it approved. Yeah. So take out the paperwork and within 1 month can be done here. Trust me, if the health is okay. And if your client is accommodating, it's like whatever you inform, they will sign, then it's okay. Yeah, because there's a lot of questions to justify that this is a key people in the company and worth giving or protecting such a good sum assured. Then it's okay. Okay, that's the first. Second, now we talk about mindset. So the mindset for the key people, right? One of the examples I shared is the study. Second, that we must actually let or ask your prospect that these key people, is it very important to the company or not? First question. Second question, what will happen to your company if these key people no longer working for you? Second question. Third, if these key people in the company, when they are no longer working for you, and it will impact your business profit or the sustainability of your business, what have you done to make sure that it will not happen? So you don't talk about loss, you don't talk about I'm going to talk about human nature, no need. Understand your prospect first. Because as soon as you mention that, when you lose the key people in the company, it will impact the profit, the business profit. So what have you done to make sure that this thing will never happen? So I want you to ask, because the more information you get from your prospect, the easier for you to structure something that they think will be of value to the company. So you ask that, do you know, if you know you can tell me, then I can give you advice. Do you know the answer? Like, is it important or not key people? Important. Then if let's say your prospect lose the key people in the company, what will happen to the company? Does he know that it's very important?
Yes.
He knows.
It's family owned. And
Okay.
Then, yeah, and then they will say things like, very difficult to talk among family members. Like,
Correct.
You don't want to talk about that. No, very tata.
Correct. Okay. That's why this is I also get this kind of question. You don't talk to your dad. I'm supposed to be talking to your dad, but you bring me. Because it's very difficult to talk about wealth, money, death to family members. That's why you need a third party to talk to your father. So you bring us, I have this, that's why I tell, until I tell my client, why you talk to your dad? You're not supposed to. You should connect with your dad if you are in the picture. Because the third party need to talk. And yes, it's a very difficult topic, but you do not want to bring the family dispute to the court if you don't marinate early. Yeah, so you don't want that to happen. So if let's say, I think you can reach out to me since I'm in Malaysia. If your prospect or they tell you what kind of structure he has to make sure that if the key people in the company leave, and how does this impact the company, and what do you do to make sure that prevent all this financial impact from the company, then let me know. Then I give you some advice. Yeah, because you have to understand, if you do not know, it's okay, get the answer. Because if you do not know their existing structure, right, then you will never be able to give the right advice to them. And they will never think that it will actually add value to the company. So once you find out and you tell them one thing, I'm not trying to replace whatever structure you have. Because my intention is very clear. I want to help you to make sure that the structure currently you have will be even better and more powerful. Not about replacing, but it's about improvising it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, your delegate from Malaysia. Next,
And of course, let's have a delegate from the left side of the hall. Yes, hello.
Hello, Ms. Ka. I'm Mika from the Philippines. So my question is, I tried reaching out to my HNWs when I was a rookie, and unfortunately it didn't end so well. And my questions are, how can I reconnect with them? And what are the best way to reconnect and start a conversation and eventually set an appointment without, feeling awkward? And could you share a little case or scenario that happened?
Sure. Can I ask why it didn't end so well? What happened?
I think the skills, and I'm still a way back then.
Okay. So the next thing, how you reconnect with them, you try to set an appointment, not talk about work, just bring them up to have a meal or to catch up. Don't talk about work anymore. Try to actually get to understand them as a friend, rather than you want to treat them as a client. Because no point, if now the previous meeting was very awkward, right? The moment you meet up and you talk about insurance, you will kill the opportunity. So let's have an appointment with them and purposely, because you see, when you ask for appointment, they expect you to talk about insurance. But when they expect you to talk about insurance, you purposely do not want to talk about insurance. So they knows that, hey, how come she's not talking anything about insurance? I thought she asked me out because she want to try to fix her presentation or try to close the deal, right? No, you purposely do something that they never expect. So just ask them out, talk about life, talk about things, happy things, and not talk about insurance. Get the connection back and make the situation more organic, rather than you're forcing it to actually want to understand or want to close the case. Please make an appointment and get them out.
Thank you, Ms. Ka. So, a follow-up question.
Okay.
So, when is the best way to enter the,
When you feel that they feel very comfortable with you, because they are high net worth prospect, it takes time to actually get that kind of connection with them. So if let's say now, how to actually try, right? Okay, so the next, you start appointment, they come out, okay? Then they have a meal with you. Then you try again, maybe after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. See whether they come out or not. Because if they enjoy your company, they will come out. But if they don't and they keep delaying, then you pause there for a while first and try to reconnect. Because high net worth market is very different compared to mass market. Mass market is very straightforward. You want this product or the price is suitable for you, then we close the deal. But these are the people that have many options. And they will never work with you if they don't actually trust you. But if you keep coming back to actually talk about insurance, then they think that you are not different from any other agents out there. So make sure that you have to stand up and behave differently compared to any other agents out there. So try to come up with them and see whether they say yes or they keep delaying. If delay means that you know that the connection is not there. So you need take time to build that connection first. Until you can feel one. They kind of very open up, then they start to tell you about personal things. That's how you test the water, then you know that the temperature is right for you to the next level.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So go ahead and book that appointment. You got this. Okay?
Yes, of course, because we have time constraints right now, Angela. We can just accommodate one last question. And that is from...
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, madam. From...
My name is Jamie. I'm from the Philippines. Yes, I really appreciate all the things you shared yesterday and today. Thank you so much. My question is about your talk yesterday. You emphasized the importance of having a critical illness coverage, and I totally agree. I myself, I'm an advocate of having, if I could just, insure all Filipinos to have critical illness coverage. I was wondering, have you ever encountered a case where the company had to decline your client's critical illness coverage? How did you handle this situation? And how did you explain it to your client? And did you come up with another plan, or like a plan B for him or her, since he is not insurable anymore?
Okay, very good question. Okay, so I also encountered this kind of client. Actually, he wants to apply after they get declined due to the health conditions. So I actually tell them one thing, okay, on this client, right, I'll tell them that you try to look for plans whereby, like, saving plans normally is okay. If you cannot get yourself insured on the critical illness, start saving your money as your emergency fund, rather than use the critical illness coverage for your emergency fund. You have to start building saving plan to give you the accessibility to emergency fund. That's one thing. Second, that's something that I will really talk to her heart to heart. I will ask her this thing. You know that now you really want the coverage very well and you are not insurable. If I give you 5 years time earlier that you were still healthy, do you wish to buy more? Right? So why not? Start from your family members or maybe children or spouse, buy the highest CI coverage on them, because now is the times that you know the feeling very well that when you need it and you are not allowed to carry it. So protect your family right now, because you are not insurable, it doesn't mean that they are not. So just protect them as soon as possible to make sure they get a proper coverage. And also, this is something for her to learn. It's called impact learning. Do not wait until when you are no longer to be able to get yourself insured. So start with the people you love the most, your family. Then the next, your friend. Then relative. And please give some awareness. If I were to do that, last time actually I did this. Is it possible to do a testimonial? I asked, please do testimonial for me. And the testimonial, not only you, it's a you and me, and I answer questions, you answer, and I post it. And the intention is to give awareness to the people around us to make sure that cover or protect yourself while you still can and insurable. Okay?
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Jamie. And of course, to everybody else who shared their questions, please give yourselves a big round of applause.